of truth. 144, chosen of the chosen few. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am celestial earth in the divine energy essence of it all. Reporting to you live from nowhere other than 5D, the place to be. Happy 111 portal. I had to catch it before the night closes out. So this is a late night um late night live. This is what I call for the late night vibers, soul tribers, um, effector crew. So happy 111 portal, which is right after the vortex of 01 to 10. For those who know, we've been talking about the vortex. How did you go through the vortex? How was you vortexing through? It's just like the portal, like I always say. You have to be pre-portaling, right? So I want to talk to us not only about the portal, um, but also about the energies that are shifting and what is happening as the in any time lapsing. If anyone has been feeling that, I've been meaning to talk about that. There's been some time lapsing while we're time shifting. And so this vortex, this 111, is really highlighting a lot, especially during the full moon. The full moon is coming up in a few days, full moon in Cancer. We are still in the month or the sign or the house of Set. For those of you who have your 5D calendars, it's known to everybody else as Capricorn, the Capricorn month, which is Set, what we call Set. And it's about the shadows. It's about removing the shadows, confronting. There we go. It's about confronting the shadows, closing things out. The theme of this portal right now, from what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing and even seeing around me, is there are some closing outs that are happening. There's some, that old paradigm that everybody's been talking about for a lot of people, that is closing out. And so the timelines are lapsing. Those, you may have seen me do a video about that before. If you want, you could look up. The timelines are lapsing. That should be a continual subject, to be honest. For those of us who are in 5D, motioning through 5D, moving through the age of the Aquarian, that should be something that is always said, because you're just going to be always hearing it. Time shifting, time is lapsing, timeline shifting or shifting. And dimensional shifts that are happening, right? And psychic abilities coming online, and not just psychic in that woohoo way, but we're talking about the psyche, the suke, and the suke, which is of the everything in the mind, the third eye. Our third eye is really coming online, as we are in the fifth dimension, right? So we are in the dimension where everything is expressive, and a lot is coming. And the next line, this is what I wanted to really get to. The woo is the woo of it, is that in coming online, a lot of us are feeling the carbon body going into the light body, right? And so this is something I saw actually yesterday. Right? I wanted to, do a video about it. They didn't get a chance, but this was about the light beings, knowing that we're light beings. And a lot of us know that homo luminous, there's a lot of words that we use for it. A lot of us feel the elevation, the evolution of mankind as it's really dawning right now. Like this is like our civilization of this time right now is like the butt crack of dawn, like really dawning right now. The light beings, or the awareness of being beings of light, or to simply say going from carbon-based bodies into crystalline light bodies. So it's becoming more apparent, more evident that we are light beings. And that was, the message I got out of that. So if I can see it, I'm going to take some time. There's, if I could read it, if I could read those, my own handwriting, I can share a little bit of that download with the light beings. But it's basically recognizing another level of your light beingness, your light warrior. It could be from all the light warrior work that you are doing. A lot of those of us who have really been doing the work, in my case, on my end, it's been the ancestral work. It's been the ancestral passage type journey that is still entering into my, or being a part of my soul's ascension. Each and every one of us have different avenues. There are many ways. It's all the omnipresence of the divine in this omniverse. So there are many, many ways, right? There's no one way to spirit. So there's so many coming online in multiple ways. For some people, it's ancestral, and that's what's really coming up for me a lot more now. For some people, it's energy centers. It's many different ways that a lot of people are coming online, even more. And so this is one of the pathways. I say that to say this. This is one of the pathways. And if it resonates with you, then hey, welcome. This is why I'm being called to open the ancestral passageway here to help in this part of your evolution. And this is a message I was getting from a couple of days ago. But to be a part of this evolution, in this way, in this light, as we're all ascending in our souls, right? So all of us are ascending, but the ways that we go about it may be a little different. And right now, this is a time where a lot of us are being called to find our soul tribe, to be in more of alignment with your soul tribe, even a little bit more tighter, a little bit more, bonded. So you're finding the ways that you all move together in the same, towards your soul ascension. Put it that way. It's almost like we're finding our classes, if that makes sense. It's like when you get there to school, life is all one big school. So we're finding our classes. We're finding new classmates for new courses. It's almost like some of us switch course real quickly. Like we just derailed the course we were on. This has been happening since 2020. It's nothing new, but we just derailed and said, yeah, I'm recoursing. This is where I'm going to be. And so we got our new schedule, new classmates. We're finding who is who, and who you can do certain classes with. See, a lot of us got to know that too. Who can you do certain classes with? Not everybody that is, it's not painted with black and white. Not everybody that is spiritual is where you are. Let me say it this way, is a vibrational match for where you are at this point in time, at this juncture. So we have to know what way it is. So it's good when we're finding our ways, finding our fit for this spiritual modality, as we move in more into our soul's ascension. So in my case, the ancestral passage is like a tool to that soul ascension, right? And what is another tool that I've been using before I even got to this is the workshops. So the workshops are like the tool to that tool. So the workshops, as I see it, the workshops can filter you into anywhere, right? Not saying you got to take my workshops, but if you're taking any workshops, depending on how you're aligning with them, if you're truly getting something out of them for your soul, once you start sharpening yourself, let me put it that way, that's like level personal growth. When you start sharpening yourself first, then you get to that next level. Then it filters you out. So any type of workshopping with your soul, any type of practical work that you're doing with your soul, where you're fine-tuning your soul, it starts to, filter you out to the right avenue. See, some of us are being filtered out right now. Some of us have been being filtered out, and we're finding our correct filter. So we're being poured out into these different ways. Sharpen yourself here, sharpen yourself there. Oh, I'm doing this over here, in the ways that befits us as we are becoming. And once we find that way, then it filters us into what avenue. Okay, what are you going to do? You're going to do ancestral. You're going to do, what's another thing? Some people go straight through therapy. There's many different ways that people are finding their fit. Some are doing Reiki, some are doing multiple ones, like myself. There's Reiki, there's the energy centers, there's the moon, there's the celestials. I'm a part of the whole omniverse. So for me, any of these avenues I can use at any time as they come up to me. And right now it's been the ancestral one. And for a lot of us, how I can say that helps you to unlock the codes in your blood, in your DNA, your God encryption, your deoxyribonucleic acid, God, Lord, fire in the center of my being, your blood, your script, right? So A lot of it is in there. And when you do your, this is just what I've been shown, when you do your ancestral work, you unlock those codes in that file of your life, if that makes sense. Um, some of us are like computer chips, kind of. And so you kind of pull that out, if that makes sense. And it's like, okay, this is who this file is, right? So the blood is complicated, as you all know. Any scientist will tell you it has many, physically there's so much information in a strand, or however they look at it. So imagine how much spiritual information is in there as well. So you find your fit, you find the codes. As this one unlocks the codes, you unlock some things, not just for yourself, but for your lineage, for your blood. You open things up, and there's something in that um, opens an aspect of your soul ascension. It takes you deeper into your soul ascension when you do that. So that's some of the way that the light beings have been lighting up. For those of you who are like on that journey or feel that call, feel free to join the community. All right, so we are light beings. Let me go to sharing that. Before I go into that, please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, keep the algorithms going. I'm still catching up with some comments here as I'm learning to use the phone a little bit more. So bear with me. Not just use the phone, but use the phone with YouTube in regards to responding in YouTube. It's different from on the computer. So with that, let me share this little download about light beings, and whatever resonates with you, resonates with you. So, light beings, this is in regards to the vortex closing, which was 01 to 10, those 9 days that were spiritual, bring it back to me, spiritual completion. Those of you who know the number 9. So we are light beings, beings in truth. Beings in truth within the same space of the love frequency, which is within the isness of the infinite existence of time. Let me say that again. We're light beings, being in the truth within the space of the love frequency, which is within the isness of the infinite existence of time. We are to be, as in be evolved in the truth that lights the eternal path of love as the great order of divinity, God, within our soul unfolding journey. So as that great order, the truths that we're to be, we're supposed to be evolved in this light. This is how I was just seeing the light beings evolved. We are to be in that truth of light, knowing that you are beings in truth. It is to be in that truth, and that truth that is always existing in that space, in that infinite space of time, which we are all keepers of time. So it's highlighting how the light is time and the time is light, and you are both. let the flames ignite. All right, that's just how it came out. The other part of that, we are to be evolved again. We are to be evolved, be impressed, not impressed like impress somebody, but it can be read for that as well. But to be impressed, right, as impressed in upon you. Impressed with the divine design of perfection within the cosmic thread of life that supports the fabric of the divine matrix within the multi-dimensional universe as the multiverse of space-time reality into the realms of time-space reality, infinitely reciprocated by our interactivity throughout and between. And I know that was a lot of words. I'm just giving y'all as it came out. It's not even how I speak, so it's a lot that's just saying that we're to be impressed with this divine energy, and that perfection is in this whole cosmic thread of life that is supporting all of us through this fabric, through this matrix, and remembering that it's within the multi-dimensional universe, this whole multiverse. It's letting know it's just beyond a universe, the multiverse, the multi-dimensions of the universe, and understanding its existence within time-space reality, right? So it's just sharing that, and it's also showing how we reciprocate it, if you understand that part too, when it says infinitely reciprocated. So in this reality and how it's reciprocated by our interconnectivity, by our interactivity throughout, between the cosmos, everything in between. So it's how we're interacting, how we're evolving, right? It is the divine interconnectivity between our infinite existence within space and time reality. It is a galactic, spatial, and timely travel of light as an intercommunication of the receptive and creative energies that engages our charges and fuels, let me say that again, engages our charges and fuels our locomotives, which is our bodies, right, to move in light. And this is where I was really seeing the light bodies come along in that manner. Knowing that as being in that galactic space and time, and knowing that it is travel, it is understanding it's the travel of light. And as we are light, we travel as light beings. We move with the speed of light. That's why they say Godspeed. We move with that speed of light. And it's an intercommunication of the receptive and creative energy. So it's intercommunicating something that's always happening. It's like when I saw that, what I saw is the energies of masculine, feminine, right? Which is really known as receptive activity and creative activity. And they're constantly engaging. It's the plus and minus that's constantly engaging through the light. It's embedded, it's threaded, however you want to word it, in the light. If we can see it that way, these plus and minuses that are constantly coming into earth through the frequencies and going back out. It is the life charges. The life flow energy are these life charges that we engage in back and forth with the universe, through the sun, through us to the universe inside of our soul with all of our cells. Ashe. This is deeper. These times are where we're understanding our light bodies, like for real, for real. Not just saying, hey, light worker, pew, pew, hey, light warrior, I know you. But it's really being a light body, beings of light, not human being. That's how I was seeing. We're not human beings. We're light beings. Being evolved ingers, however you want to look at it. We are light beings. So at this part is where it was really highlighting to me the intercommunication of this energy between us, and it's seeing the connectivity between us and just simply infinite existence. There's no other word that I could call it. Sometimes I feel like that's the word that I have for God right now. Just infinite existence. Everything in between and throughout, the ethers, us being a part. That's why we're 9 ethers, right? Literally coming in and out between the ethers, right? And living in the in-between, living in these codes. Light beings. Light is energy and information, right? So a lot of us have to understand all of that is synonymous. I found myself having to tell that to someone earlier, that light it's everything. Energy is light, and light is information. Just look at electricity. How do you get the light? It's information being traveled between the wire. The wire is firing information. And when there's resistance in the wire, you don't fire. That's called incoherency. Within you, within your soul, you're being a wire, you're being a conduit as a light vessel. And if you're let me not even go, as a light vessel, you transmute all of this. You're transmitting. You are also a transmitter. You are also a transformer. If you think about electrical transformers that transform the energies to transmit, transform and transmute to transmit and send it out. So we are these light beings, and we're exchanging this information with each other, in and out, through and through. There is no hiding from ourselves. There is no hiding from others. The veil is so thin because we're seeing all of the information within, because we're seeing the light. We're seeing ourselves as light. And if you see the light, you see the energy. And if you see the energy, you see the information. This is 5D. Welcome. 5D is where you see the information in expression everywhere you are in the what? In atmosphere. Remember, this also coincides with the atmospheric body, the fifth dimension, the fifth chakra from the bottom coming up, the throat, right? The throat being the fifth. It is the fifth element, spirit, throat, where we breathe in and out the breath of life. So, oh, let me see. Excuse me. Let me see what we're saying. Peace, love, and light, Reiki. Oh, I didn't even know that said Reiki. See, and I was talking about Reiki and the Reiki energy, and that's another channel in itself for the light to travel. It looked like someone behind you, or it's your. Oh, that's probably my shadow, because there's nobody behind me but a bigger me. I don't know. You see something? That's my higher me, but no, that's my shadow. I'm in the car. I'm car conferencing right now. I wanted to get a nice view because I had a nice view today, but there's still so much going on. Thank you for those of you who are still sending your love and light. But before I go there, there was more. It's just that Spirit took me to explaining that a little bit more. So it's okay. Let me go back to this understanding the intercommunication of the energies that engages our charges and fuels our locomotives, and that's our bodies. I wanted to kind of stick around there the way I was seeing it that way. Local, as in your local motives, right? So not just choo-choo, but just look at this as well. In the emotional body, in the energy and emotion body, the way that that is being, charged and fueled. So the local motives that you have, so meaning all those motives within you that you got working on in your ego and all that, i.e. the body, those local motives, right? That may not be the physical body, but they're very connected to the physical body through the emotions, kind of like the relationship between the root and the chakra, the root and the sacral chakra. It's like the root and the chakra, they're both chakras. The root chakra and the sacral have that similar relationship because the root is very physical and the sacral is the emotional, right? So it's kind of like where the physical meets the emotional. Anywho, I digress. The locomotives are the bodies, and they are the ones that move with light. So what's being said is that we must be evolved and move in the essence of light that transports the information of energy into the local arrangements of this realm, and making spiritual complexities palatable to the physical anomalies. And that was intertwined with something that I had actually, it was an answer actually, for something that I was looking at, and looking at these anomalies that had came up in a conversation. And so it's recognizing that when we do this, the light bodies that are turning over, we're making spiritual complexities palpable, which is bringing it from the invisible into the visible. It's making it more tangible. So it's bringing it into all of the answers for these physical anomalies, things that people will say, oh, that's an anomaly. But spiritually, no, that's not an anomaly. Getting tongue tied. It's a spiritual practice. It's a perfect outworking of the law. And so this is what we must be and move like in the essence of our light. So it's just showing the evolution of us light beings becoming more homo luminous beings. We have to be in the essence of the light, the one that is always transmitting, transplanting the light, transforming, transsetting. We have to move like that. We have to move like the light is being emphasized. You have to remember that you are the light, and then move like the light that you know that you are. right? So move the bodies out of the way and move more in your Merkaba light spirit body, right? So it's understanding this realm. Make sure that that pretty much was it, right? And basically just to remind us that we transmute to transform. In our transmuting, in our soul work, we're transmuting. And when we transmute, we transform. We have a true transformation. All right, so we must transmute to transmit. We are transformers of light, and that was what was closed out, or I closed it out with, because I realized, oh snap, we are transformers of light, and I mean in the way that I said with electricity. We're like these electrical transformers, and we, the conduits of body, the conduits of light, we are transformers for the light frequency, the information to pass through, right? Through us, between us and the earth, in all type of ways. I mean that in all ways and on all levels. We are light beings expanding our light beingness. It's time for us to stop just looking at ourselves as mere human beings. If you're still saying to yourself when you mess up, oh, I'm only human, then you're still a little off. I don't like to say off. But you're still not accepting. There it is. You're not really in the acceptance and really embracing the light being body, the light body, right? You're not embracing the ka in your Merkaba, or the Mer, I should say. It's Merkaba, Mer being light. So we have to embrace the Mer. And this is what I was seeing as the vortex was closing out in this spiritual completion. What it was showing me, that this is a lot of what is happening to those of us who are evolving. A lot of us have walked through some type of time lapsing. You may have felt like you're having an outer body experience. You may have felt like you're outside of yourself, and you're just even watching everybody that you're around. It seems like you're watching television, like you're completely outside of this story. It's because a lot of us, when our lines collapse, and as we're light beaming up, right? I'm here, beam me up, Scotty. As we are light beaming in our light beingness, we're collapsing timelines, and so you feel a shift. It's like when it collapsed, you get pushed out of that timeline. And now as you're looking back at these people in that timeline, it doesn't look the same. It's like you're outside of it. But guess what? That's because you are. You're not going crazy. You ain't high. You are really outside of that timeline. And what we have to understand is that timeline has lapsed. That's it. It has collapsed. It's lapsed because you have evolved to another level. And I say that to remind some of you who are evolving, that may feel like you've lost something and you're like, I'm doing so good. How is this happening? That is part of you being pushed out of that timeline, for you to see that you don't belong here anymore in that way, in that timeline, right? It's not saying you can't be around the people, the places, or whatever, but in that way. And for some of us, the in that way may also mean we can't go to that particular place or go to that particular person for this particular moment. But we have to look at the way it's shifting, right? And so I say that because I know I'm not the only one. I literally experienced it a couple days ago, and it was on the way back up here. I was driving through the hills, and I'm just looking at how things have been feeling like it's an out of body experience. Like I'm seeing what's going on, but it feels like you're outside of it. Some of you may have evolved where you're wondering, where did that emotion go? Please don't look back for the old emotions. The old paradigms are closing out. And sometimes we're so used to it that even when it goes away, it's like you feel it's a void. It leaves a void. And you feel, empty. And some of you grab back for it. So I say to that, if you're feeling any of that and you may feel some void, fill that void with something good, something benevolent, right? Not nothing bad, not nothing That's not in alignment. Let's put it that way. That's out of alignment. Fill it with something that you know is in alignment with where you are right now in the truth of your being. Everything has to be on truth. Again, this is 5D. Everything is about your true heart vibrations, not what you're saying. It's about what you are exuding from you. We're literally excreting information, if one can see it that way. We're taking in, we're seeing so much. Why you think you're seeing so much? Because everyone's excrete is going both ways. It's a two-way street with this communication, right? Everybody's excreting it, and it's just opening up. And the more it opens up in that realm, in the third eye realm, then you see it with your third eye. You pick it up. And then the more you see it, the more it's just oozing out of people. They can't hold back because their energy knows that you see it. Right? So this is how we're all in the age of the knowing. You see it, you feel it, and who feels it and sees it knows it. So it is for you to know some of the situations you're going through is not just for you to grow, but it is for you to know. And so when you have the knowledge, you have the power. The power to do what? The power to change. New information invites you to make a turn, to make a change where you need to make that turn. So this light beingness is helping you get so much light, so much information that you're going to be able to turn in the right direction. And you're going to be able to transcend, to go 360 spiraling up. 360 spiraling up, continuing this spiral of evolution, this spiral that we all move on, as well as our sun. Spiraling is a natural movement, not just here, but through the cosmos. Nothing is a square, nothing is straight lines, everything is curvatures and circular. So best believe it's moving, and it's moving and evolving. All right, so before I go to, let me make sure that's what I got with the download. That was everything. I really wanted to share that light beings deposit that kind of came down as I was in meditation, really highlighting how we're feeling more like light beings. We're being more light beings, and that, hey, we might as well just walk around and say, I'm a light being, not a human being. I am a light being, right? Being evolved in these human experiences. Ashe, I'm just saying. Ashe, ashe. We are evolving through human experiences. Anything else? Utilize this full moon. Any suggestions I have, I will leave with this. Utilize the full moon to the best of your ability. What else? Ride the wave of it, because it has to do with family. Full moon in Cancer is highlighting a lot of things that are coming up in the family, especially being that we are in the month of Set, right? That is inviting us to look at our shadows. So I advise us to really utilize this full moon energy, because you know the full moon brings up the emotions. It brings up the waves, so it brings up the waves in you, and it brings